I really like that. I really like that. I thought that was really keen. That was really up my alley. It was a little heavy, but, you know, I was only pretending to use it. I thought it was so clever, and it showed so much about the, you know, it told so much story, those props like that. This is what I'm saying. So many of the props told so much character and story, the costume pieces. And that was one of my favorites. I like those headlights. Plus it was, you know, it did something, it's sort of a weird little thing, but one of my favorite things about the show, I've never heard any of the other actors talk about, maybe I'm a freak, but you know, you're always, you come in and you stand there and they light you, and then you know, go off and they finish up and you come in and you do the scene. Well, in Beauty and the Beast, we had headlights on sometimes, and everybody had flashlights and so forth, and when you're shooting on a set that's that dark and smoky, all of, you know, these lights that are coming off of our bodies had to do with the actual lighting of the scene. You know, these were vital parts of the photography. And some of the scenes, I mean, you know, sometimes you would not have seen people's eyes unless, because I mean, the only reason they have any light on it at all is because Mouse is looking at them and shining lights at them, right? And so if I wasn't standing there doing that, they'd be in the dark. And that was literally how they were lighting it for the camera. They weren't putting other lights behind to substitute. And for me, coming from sort of an organic theater background, that sort of tied the whole process in. I know it sounds dopey, but the fact that we had to light each other a little bit, and instead of just being off camera saying your lines, you have to be off camera, and you know that, you know, you're speaking and you're walking, and now the light's going to hit them, so you have to speak and walk and then flash the light past them. And that sort of tied us in a little bit more with the crew, and also with the sort of intangible, weird filmmaking thing, you know. Yeah. Yes. Oh, me, no. I came up with nothing. That's what I'm saying. And we, you know, the script was pretty much the script of Beast. I mean, so people had been there and worked. And, you know, okay, good, okay, fine was, you know, from our writing staff. I believe George R. R. Martin is responsible for that particular piece of dialogue. And a lot of other stuff about Mouse. But no, I never improvised. Never on that show, which is, I mean, usually, that's what this is what I'm saying, this is why I was talking so much about how much we like the script, you know, how much I like the scripts at least, and, you know, I always follow, because in the theater, you know, usually the script is the text, you know, and the text is God, and that's that, you know, and you don't go around messing with, you don't open up Midsummer Night's Dream and say, this scene doesn't really take off. What if I came in and did one of those little things that I do, and then, you know, the text is telling us. And that's pretty much where we came from on Beauty and the Beast. Usually, you'll find me improvising like crazy in film and in TV, and even on stage, if it's that sort of a piece. And as a matter of fact, I have improvised in Midsummer Night's Dream, so I'm lying. But yeah, you know, on Fame we improvised quite a bit, and not just improvised, but also did rewrites, kind of, you know, where we would say, why don't we change it to this, and, you know, we would officially make it that way. And we also had a lot of input on our characters, which we did on Beast too, but it was, you know, I sort of let the thing happen with Beast. I liked being the collaborative, I liked being the interpreter on that. And, you know, their work was too good to mess with. What do you think? Yeah.
I wanted to say, I don't think we would have known as much about the tunnels or about Vincent without Mouse. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, my underlying, you know, my actor's goal, I don't know, most actors don't talk about this sort of thing, but that was always what I was out to do, was to tell more about Vincent and Catherine, because, you know, the story was theirs. I'm playing a supporting role, and I'm going to support them, and so I really like hearing that, because that's what I was there to do, was bring out. That's what I was saying earlier, you know, about if I can bring out something in him that nobody else, that another character cannot do, then I'm functioning on the show well, and that's, yeah, I like that. Thank you. Thanks. That was my goal. question is, did Mouse, we earlier talked about what I brought to Mouse, and now wondering what Mouse brought to me. Well, an awful lot of fanzines and drawings about my apartment. Emotionally, yeah. Obviously did a lot of great things for my life, and I met a lot of great people. All y'all for one, or for 300. And yeah, lots of stuff. I mean, you never play a role that doesn't take you somewhere. Mouse made me a lot more appreciative of what I have, and even more appreciative of what I had, my education and my family and all of that stuff that Mouse was missing. And yeah, I got to a point, where sometimes I would have Mouse's dreams, not even my dreams about playing Mouse, but just dreams that Mouse would be having. I'm not talking about I'm on the set, I'm getting ready, I'm dressed as Mouse. No, I mean his dreams that I didn't understand at all. People I don't recognize wearing tunnel clothes, and which I found a little unusual. I never had that happen to me before. And he's, Mouse has given me, it's brought out my love of words a lot more, because, he just didn't have those. So it's made me feel a lot more like writing, for one thing. So I figured, well, Mouse would if he could, he can't, so I can, so I should. So I didn't. And and also doing the show itself was great to do it. It was very satisfying to join that cast already in progress. I think that's emotionally the best thing it probably did for me is, it made me feel like a definite actor. So, I did a bunch of stuff. I did Fame and I did all these different things, but you kind of say, well, yeah, but what about, how many times can I do it? And I'd done the series once with Fame, and when I got Beauty and the Beast again, I felt very accomplished. And, but moreover, like I said, I'd never seen an episode of the show. And after doing a couple of them, I still hadn't seen one. I went up to Vancouver to do 21 Jump Street. And one of my nights off up there, I watched my first episode of Beauty and the Beast. And I was so impressed with its beauty and its decorum and its intelligence and its love that, and this is a very sort of strange thing, I don't want this to sound egotistical, but I was very impressed that they were, the fact that they were letting me play a character like Mouse, who was so noisy and sort of out of control, and so out of rhythm with everything else that was going on there. I sat there and so they had this beautiful thing going on, like a minuet, and they're letting me run in and go, hey, what's going on? And that made me feel like because I had done it twice and they hadn't sacked me, and I thought, man, if I'm actually pulling this off where I run into that place with all of that energy, then I must be doing all right. That was the first time I thought, well, relax, After 11 solid years of acting professionally, I finally felt like maybe I was actually acting professionally, If that makes any sense. I just thought, wow. It's like, I think it might be like if you're a musician, when you hear an ensemble that you play with when you're not there one night, and you go, wow, they let me play with them? I thought I sucked. I must be okay, because they're really good. Watching Roy and Ron and all and Linda and just thinking, well, if they let me disturb this piece. And that was the most emotionally feeding thing that I had. It gave me some self-confidence that just wasn't, quite grown in yet. And it can really be helpful when you're acting. You gotta feel like it's there.